My girlfriend said, "Why do we need marriage? What we have is perfect." I replied, "You're right, it is perfect." Then I found her wedding ring and found out she was already married to her coworker. When I confronted her, she started crying and begging me not to leave. I, 28 male, have been with Natasha, 26, for 2 years. Everything seemed perfect between us. We moved in together 8 months ago, split bills evenly, and I genuinely thought she was the one. Last month, she brought up how her sister Veronica was getting engaged and how ridiculous it all seemed. "Why do we need marriage? What we have is perfect," she said while we were having dinner. I agreed completely. "You're right, it is perfect." Fast forward to last Tuesday. Natasha left her gym bag open on the kitchen counter. A small jewelry box fell out when I moved it to wipe down the surface. Inside was a beautiful diamond wedding ring. My heart stopped. Not an engagement ring, a wedding band with an engraving inside that read, "DNN Forever, 06/15/2023. June 15th, 2023. That was 3 months after we started dating. I sat there staring at this ring for probably 20 minutes. My mind was racing, but I forced myself to think logically. I needed more information before I did anything stupid. I started paying attention to things I'd ignored before. Her phone always face down. Working late 3 nights a week. Weekend work conferences I was never invited to hear about in detail. Thursday evening, I casually mentioned how I'd love to meet more of her coworkers since she talked about them so much. "Oh, you wouldn't find them interesting," she laughed. "Besides, Derek is kind of weird around new people." Derek. DNN Forever. I spent Friday doing something I never thought I'd do. Social media stalking. Found Derek Hoffman from her company's LinkedIn. Nice-looking guy, around her age. His Instagram was private, but his Facebook wasn't. There it was. Wedding photos from June 15th, 2023. Derek and Natasha in a beautiful outdoor ceremony. She looked radiant in a white dress I'd never seen. The comments were full of congratulations from people I'd never heard her mention. I screenshot everything with shaking hands. When she got home Friday night, I had the ring box sitting on the coffee table. "We need to talk." Her face went white immediately. Then the tears started. "Jake, I can explain everything. It's not what you think. You're married. It was a mistake. We got married too fast and I realized I didn't love him. But divorce is complicated and expensive and you've been lying to me for 2 years." She started crying harder. "I was gonna tell you. I didn't want to lose you. What we have is so perfect and real. My marriage is just paperwork. Just paperwork. 2 years of my life. Planning a future with someone who was already someone else's wife. Please don't leave me. I'll fix this. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. Derek doesn't even care. We barely talk anymore. You're the one I love." I told her I needed space to think. She begged me not to make any rash decisions. I spent the weekend at my buddy Marcus's place, showing him the evidence. He was as floored as I was. "Dude, you dodged a bullet. What kind of person does this?" The kind of person who cries and begs instead of owning up to their deception, apparently. I'm still processing everything. Part of me wonders if she's telling the truth about not loving him. But then I remember 2 years of lies, and I feel sick again. Update coming once I figure out my next move. Update 1. Holy crap, the response to my post was overwhelming. Thank you to everyone who shared their stories and advice. It helped me realize I wasn't crazy for feeling completely betrayed. So I went back to our apartment Sunday night. Natasha had clearly been crying for hours. She immediately started apologizing again and promised she'd already called a divorce lawyer. I made an appointment for Tuesday. I'm going to end it with Derek. You're the only one I want to be with. I asked her why she married him in the first place. We were together for 3 years before you. When he proposed, I said yes because I thought it was what I was supposed to do. But then I met you and realized what real love feels like. So you cheated on your husband with me? It's not cheating when the marriage doesn't mean anything. The audacity of this statement blew my mind. I told her we were done. Cue the waterworks again. You can't just throw away 2 years. What about all our plans? What about the vacation we booked for next month? Our vacation. That I paid for because she said money was tight with her student loans. I wonder how many of her financial struggles were actually just her supporting 2 relationships. She started getting desperate. If you leave me, I'll have nothing. Derek and I don't even live together anymore. I'll be homeless. I asked where Derek thought she was living. He thinks I'm staying with Veronica while we work on our marriage. So she was lying to him too. Somehow this made me feel worse, not better. She grabbed my arm as I started packing a bag. Please, Jake, give me 1 month to fix this. Let me prove that you're the one I choose. You already made your choice. You chose to lie to me for 2 years. But I love you. You love the idea of having backup options. I stayed at Marcus's again that night. Natasha sent me about 40 texts ranging from apologies to promises to threats of self-harm if I abandoned her. I almost caved on that last one, but Marcus reminded me that emotional manipulation is another red flag. Tuesday morning, she texted me that she'd met with the lawyer and started divorce proceedings. She sent me a photo of some papers as proof. I reverse searched the image. It was a stock photo from a legal website. That's when I realized she had no intention of actually leaving Derek. She was just buying time to figure out how to manage both relationships. I decided Derek deserved to know what kind of woman he married. Update 2. I reached out to Derek through Facebook. Took me 3 days to figure out what to say without sounding like a complete psychopath. Hi Derek, I don't think we've met, but I believe we need to talk about Natasha. Would you be available for a phone call? He responded within an hour. Who is this? How do you know my wife? We talked for 2 hours. Poor guy had no idea. Derek told me that Natasha had been staying at her sister's place since March because they were working through some marriage issues and needed space. She came home twice a week for dinner and spent every weekend with him. He thought they were making progress. She keeps saying she wants to make our marriage work, but she needs time to figure herself out. I've been patient because I love her. I felt terrible for him. This guy was genuinely trying to save his marriage while his wife was playing house with me. I sent him the screenshots of our apartment lease, photos of us together, everything. He went silent for about 10 minutes. 2 years. His voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry, man. I had no idea she was married when we started dating. Derek thanked me for telling him and said he needed time to process. He seemed like a decent guy who got screwed over just as badly as I did. That evening, Natasha showed up at Marcus's place somehow. I still don't know how she found out where I was staying. She was furious. Derek called me screaming and crying. How could you destroy my marriage? Your marriage was already destroyed. You destroyed it. We had an understanding. You didn't need to involve him. An understanding, like Derek had agreed to let his wife live with another man. He's threatening to take everything in the divorce now. The house, the car, everything. You've ruined my life. You ruined your own life when you decided to lie to both of us. She tried a different approach, crying again and saying how sorry she was, how she'd made terrible decisions, but we could work through this together. Derek means nothing to me. I only stayed married because I was scared of starting over. But I'll give up everything for you. Too little, too late. I told her to leave and not contact me again. She left, but not before telling me I'd regret throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me. The best thing that ever happened to me was finding out the truth before I wasted any more years on her. Update 3. Natasha wasn't done making my life difficult. First, she started showing up at my work. Security had to escort her out twice after she caused scenes in the lobby, crying loudly about how I was abandoning her in her darkest hour. Then she called my mom. Somehow got her number and told her that I'd broken up with her out of nowhere and she didn't understand why. Painted herself as the victim of my commitment issues. My mom called me concerned. Jake, honey, Natasha seems really heartbroken. She says you two were talking about marriage and you just disappeared. What happened? I had to explain the whole situation to my mother. She was horrified. That poor woman has serious issues. I'm proud of you for walking away. But Natasha wasn't done. She started posting on social media about fake friends and people who abandon you when life gets hard. Never mentioned me by name, but anyone who knew us could figure it out. Her sister Veronica actually reached out to me through Instagram. Jake, I don't know what happened between you and Natasha, but she's devastated. She really loves you. Can't you two work this out? I told Veronica about the marriage. She didn't believe me at first. That's impossible. Natasha would have told me if she got married. We tell each other everything. I sent her the wedding photos. She stopped responding. 2 days later, Veronica called me. I confronted Natasha about the photos. She finally admitted everything. I can't believe she's been lying to our whole family for 2 years. Apparently, Natasha had been telling everyone that Derek was just a boyfriend she was casually seeing. Even at family gatherings, she introduced him as her friend from work when he occasionally came around. Veronica was disgusted. Our parents kept asking when she was going to settle down and get serious about someone. She let them think she was single this whole time. But here's where it gets worse. Veronica told me that Natasha had been asking family members for money over the past year. Small amounts, $200 here, $300 there. Always some emergency. She told me her car needed repairs. She told our cousin Maya that her landlord raised her rent unexpectedly. She told our dad that she needed money for work clothes. All lies. She was probably using the money to maintain 2 households and 2 relationships. Derek reached out to me again last week. He'd found out about the family money situation too, because Natasha had been asking his relatives for cash as well. Same sob stories, different audience. My mom gave her $500 last month because Natasha said she needed it for medical bills, Derek told me. She's been scamming everyone. Derek filed for divorce and kicked her out of their house. She's been staying with Veronica, but apparently that's not going well either. Veronica says she lies about everything, Derek continued. Small stuff, big stuff, doesn't matter. She can't help herself. I dodged a bullet, but I still feel sorry for Derek. He's a good guy who wasted 3 years on someone who saw him as a safety net. Final update. The drama finally reached its peak, and honestly, I couldn't have scripted a better ending if I tried. Last month, Natasha's web of lies completely unraveled in the most spectacular way possible. Veronica kicked her out after she caught Natasha stealing jewelry from her bedroom. Not borrowing, stealing. She was planning to sell Veronica's grandmother's ring to pay for a deposit on a new apartment. With nowhere else to go, Natasha moved back in with her parents. They had no idea about Derek, remember? So when he showed up at their house looking for her with divorce papers, it was chaos. Her parents were completely blindsided. Married? What do you mean married? Natasha's been single for years. Derek had to show them the wedding photos and legal documents to prove it. Natasha's mom called me that evening, sobbing. Jake, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. We thought you were her boyfriend. We liked you so much. Her dad was apparently furious about the money she'd taken from family members under false pretenses. When they confronted her about it, she tried to blame me. I needed the money because Jake was pressuring me to leave Derek. He said he'd break up with me if I didn't get divorced quickly, so I had to hire an expensive lawyer. Complete fabrication, but she stuck to the story. Here's the best part. Derek's family and Natasha's family started comparing notes. They realized she'd been telling contradictory lies to both sides for years. Derek's mom told Natasha's mom about all the money they'd given her for various emergencies. Natasha's dad started adding up all the family loans she'd never repaid. The total was over $4,000. Her family demanded she pay them back immediately. She couldn't, obviously, because she'd spent it all maintaining her double life. That's when they discovered she'd also been lying about her job situation. Turns out she'd been fired from her position 3 months ago for inappropriate workplace relationships. Apparently, she'd been hooking up with Derek at work, and it created a hostile environment for other employees. She'd been living off family money and Derek's income while pretending to still have her job. Even I didn't know she was unemployed. So here's where everything stands now. Derek got his divorce finalized last week. He kept the house and car since he could prove she'd been committing fraud. Her name wasn't on the mortgage anyway. Her family cut her off financially and demanded she pay back every penny she borrowed. Her dad actually filed a police report for theft regarding the jewelry incident with Veronica. She's currently living in a studio apartment across town, working at a chain restaurant, and apparently telling anyone who'll listen that Derek and I conspired to destroy her life. But wait, it gets better. Last week, I got a text from an unknown number. It was from someone named Bradley. Hey, is this Jake? I think we need to talk about Natasha. Turns out Bradley was Natasha's boyfriend before Derek. They dated for 2 years and she cheated on him with Derek. She'd told Bradley the same lies about Derek that she told me, that he was just a friend from work and nothing serious. Bradley found out about me through mutual friends and wanted to warn me about her pattern of behavior. Too late, obviously, but it was validating to know I wasn't her first victim. She's been doing this for years, Bradley told me. She can't maintain one relationship, so she always has backup plans. I should have warned Derek when I found out about him, but I thought she'd change. People don't change, especially people who lie as easily as breathing. The funniest part? Natasha actually tried to get back together with Bradley last month, sent him a long message about how she'd grown as a person and realized he was her true love. He screenshot the message and sent it to me. Even after everything, she was still trying to manipulate someone into being her safety net. Bradley declined, obviously. As for me, I'm doing great. I moved into a nice 1-bedroom place downtown. I've been dating someone new for the past month. Emma, who I met through work. She's honest, straightforward, and definitely not married to anyone else. I learned a lot about red flags and trusting my instincts. When someone seems too good to be true, they usually are. When someone avoids talking about certain parts of their life, there's usually a reason. I don't hate Natasha anymore. I actually feel sorry for her. She created this elaborate web of lies and lost everyone who genuinely cared about her. Derek loved her enough to work on their marriage. I loved her enough to plan a future with her. Her family supported her financially and emotionally. She threw it all away because she was too selfish and cowardly to be honest with anyone. Some people in the comments asked if I ever regret exposing her to Derek. Never. He deserved to know the truth. Just like I did. We both deserved better than being someone's backup plan. Natasha made her choices. She lived with 2 years of lies, and now she gets to live with the consequences. That's justice served, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks to everyone who followed this journey with me. Your support meant everything during the hardest months of my life. Life's good now. Really good. Edit, for those asking, yes, Derek and I actually became friends through all this. We grab beers occasionally and laugh about how we both dodged the same bullet. He's dating someone new too, and she seems awesome. Sometimes the worst situations lead you to the best people.